Welcome back to Adventures with Rosie. Now we're going on a bit of an adventure today. We're going to travel New Zealand's worst and windiest state highway. Let's do it. Alright, so behind me is State Highway 43. Bit of a miserable wet winter's day here, but we're about to tackle what is considered one of the worst state highways in New Zealand. This narrow road, which goes down to single lane in some places, is a state highway, number 43, and it is the only state highway in New Zealand that has gravel sections. There is a 12-kilometre section of this road that is gravel, so pretty good for a state highway to be gravel as well. So this is 114 kilometres from Taumaranui down to Stratford in Taranaki, where we're going to head down to New Plymouth. So you can go down the coast. It is a bit easier, it's a lot quicker, it's about an hour and a half quicker to go down the coast, but we thought let's tackle one of New Zealand's apparently most scenic roads. So I'm hoping this rain is going to ease up. I'm going to throw the drone up. There is a tunnel just down here apparently, pretty amazing. There's a small little village called Whangamamona, which is kind of in the middle of the forgotten highway. There's a lot of rail history through here. There used to be a railway line and things through here. So yeah, join us. We'll look at New Zealand's forgotten world highway. Alright, so this is the famous Moki Tunnel. This looks incredible. This was built in 1930. I think it's 181 meters long. And look at that, it's just like exposed rock, it's single lane. Apparently it used to be a lot shorter back in the day, and they actually dug down 2 meters to allow big trucks to pass through here. But basically they dug this tunnel because the saddle route over the top of this hill behind me was so treacherous in the winter, and you can see behind me here just water just spews out of the cliffs in this area. It was too muddy and treacherous to go over the saddle, so they made this tunnel, but pretty incredible. Chelsea's been driving, she's a bit nervous to drive through it. Yeah, fun. Probably wasn't a good idea to jog through that after the caravan. How cool is that? It is really gnarly in there. It's not sealed, it's just bumpy rocks, exposed rocks. Yeah, freaky. Cool. How was that?
Really good. It was fun.
It's a bit bumpy.
Not too bad. I couldn't see how close my wing mirrors were to the side of the tunnel, but obviously okay.
A bit hard to see on camera, but this caravan is filthy. One of Harvey's jobs for his pocket money each week is to wash the car. He washed it yesterday and today it's a mess. Sorry, Harvey. Well, that was a pretty interesting drive. So after that tunnel we drove another 15 odd kilometers on sort of farmland, but really windy, lots of slips, lots of roadworks, and we've now arrived in the township of Whangamamona, a pretty sleepy little town. There is a famous hotel here which apparently does awesome fish and chips. It's closed on Wednesdays, and today's Wednesday, so we were going to stop there, get some hot chips. There's literally nothing going on here. There's an old post office, some old houses, an old garage. This is it. This is the main town on the Forgotten Highway. So they call this place the Republic of Whangamamona. So they say that it's not a part of New Zealand, it's a republic. You can even buy a fake passport here and get it stamped. And every year they have a Republic Day, and they have all sorts of activities and some pretty crazy things like swimming with eels and a sheep race and all sorts of real country New Zealand things. But each year they elect a president of Whangamamona, a president of the Republic. And I think I read online that last election that happened, a goat was appointed the president of the Republic. So seems like it'd be a bit of fun. That happens in January sometime. It doesn't look like much else happens here during the year, but yeah, Republic Day in January. There is a little shop here that sells sort of homemade goods and stuff, but it's got a sign in the window that says open again Labour Weekend. Labour Weekend is in October and we're in mid-July, so kind of a good take on the back in 5 minutes sign, I guess. Back on Labour Weekend. So there's actually a really old train line that runs through this valley that's actually no longer used, but there's a company called Forgotten World Adventures that have modified golf carts into rail carts. So they're like a long golf cart that seats 4 people, and they go on these tracks. And throughout the summer months, and I think maybe summer, spring and autumn, you can go on adventures basically up through this valley, through some of that, you know, the scenery you've just seen, over old bridges like this and through tunnels on these like golf carts. My parents have done it and they raved about it. I don't think it's the cheapest thing in the world to do, but it is quite like a big day out. You actually meet in Taumaranui and they bus you over the road we just went on, so you get to go through the Forgotten Highway and then you get to cruise along in this, like, I mean, this is just beautiful native bush. Imagine in summer this place would be pretty incredible, and yeah, neat trip. So I might have to put it on the bucket list, I think. So Whangamamona isn't actually the end of the Forgotten World Highway. We've still got at least another hour of twisty, windy road through to Stratford that way. I don't think it gets narrow, and we've done the gravel section, but yeah, apparently a lot of twisty road through here. We've got a couple of big saddles to climb over as well. So I'll chuck the GoPro back on the front and we'll catch up with you shortly. Well, I think it's safe to say that that was probably one of the biggest drives we've done in quite a while. I don't remember a road down in the South Island that windy, maybe when you're going over some of the passes, but it was a long day. It took us, we Google Mapped how long it would take to get from our house in Taupo to the campground in New Plymouth that we're at now. It took us about an extra 2 hours on top of that. Now that did include maybe half an hour to have a sandwich and a little look around Whangamamona. So we probably stopped for maybe an hour total. So it took us an hour of extra driving time than Google predicted. Maybe an hour and a half with the caravan. So mammoth day. Kids got a little bit sick of it towards the end, but we are at the campground now and the grandparents are here and we got sort of a whole lot of adventures around Taranaki happening now. So the kids are excited. Should you do the Forgotten World Highway? I think you should. If you've got a day where you don't have any plans, the weather looks nice, maybe midweek would be better. I do wish that pub was open. If that Whangamamona hotel, that would have been good for a bit of lunch. That would have broken the trip up. But that road, that gravel section, they're actually busy tar sealing that gravel section, believe it or not. So there's 12 kilometres of gravel. I think, like I said earlier, the only gravel state highway in New Zealand with the gravel section. They've actually tar sealed 2 kilometres of that. So there's only a 10 kilometre gravel bit. It's pretty narrow. There are a lot of slips on it and a lot of places where I think if we met traffic we would have just not been able to get around. Like if we met another caravan, I don't know how we would have been able to get around each other. There weren't a lot of spots to pull off. There was around the tunnel, either side of the tunnel there was space to pull over, as you saw. So yeah, I think sometime the work will be finished in 2024, so you've only got probably 6 months to get in there before and drive on New Zealand's gravel state highway before it's completely sealed. But yeah, it's actually not too bumpy and potholey. The road, I guess depending on when you go, they must maintain that road. It was quite graded. It wasn't like corrugated and the caravan wasn't bouncing. Or at least I didn't notice. There weren't huge potholes. It was pretty easy going. We saw a few other motorhomes there. There was a cool little pull-off bit with a bridge and what looked to be a walk. But there was no room for us to pull over. So it's fun. It's windy. It's up and down. Some of those... on the GPS on the phone, when you're climbing up the saddles, you cross over 3 sort of big hills. It is so windy and slow going. So yeah, if you've got a day, stop at the pub for lunch. Go in summer, maybe. It'd be pretty nice in summer, I'd say. It was cool this time of year, but it was damp and, you know, I don't know. Go in the middle of summer, go on a weekday, stop at the pub. I think it's really enjoyable. It's that sort of road everyone's got to do once. We're going to go up the coast when we go home, up the west coast, from New Plymouth up towards Tikawiti and then come back to Taupo. So it's a lot shorter to go that way than it is to wind your way down the centre, but I think everyone should do that road once. So if you've got any questions, fire them away in the comments below. We're in Taranaki now for the next 4 or 5 days, so there'll be some videos about that. We're going to explore the coast, the cycle trail. We're going to go up Mount Taranaki, look at Dawson Falls, hopefully. The weather outside's a bit wild, but we've got plenty planned, so stay tuned. And I'll see you in the next video.